We are glad that you have joined us. This is Benjamin Zulu Show and you're most welcome. And my name is Willie Kinyash and we are set for you. And the coach himself, he's also ready to take us through this hot topic. And this is the curse of being a successful woman but voiceless mother. Explain that.
Yeah, you know, there before women would stay in bad situation. And we are not saying men are not abused. Men can be, I've seen situations where they are the victimized. There's a time I had a daughter bring the father to the session because the mother is very abusive of all of them, very toxic, calling them names, quarreling and accusing, putting them down, disrespecting, messing up with their life. She looks like a troubled creature. So she brought the dad, because the dad is always telling them, understand your mother, she's doing it from a place of love, you know. Although she's talking like that, you know, inside is because there's a parent she cares. Just take the high road, just understand. This girl is something, she has never done anything for her life. The mother is always complicating her life, refusing her suitors, refusing her to get married, extorting her of the money, heaping up on family responsibilities, making her take care of the younger ones. She has been stuck because the father always cooperates, does not help us, stand up for her. And this man is just there saying, you know, every family has, the pacifier language. And this girl would die of depression. And I told him, you know what? You kill this girl. This girl would die of depression. She was sinking to bad depression. And he's just there saying, you know, I've lived with their mother like this. I think it's just you understand this person and you just try to understand, and every family has its own. So a very weak man, when the woman is extremely toxic, destroying the family. And instead of, because he could not stand up for himself, he can't stand up for them. So there are times when the man is the victim and he facilitates victimization by enabling. Not standing up for himself, then he can't stand up for the children because he has not disagreed with the treatment. He has not said this is not right. And so we are not minimizing the time when the man can be abused and harassed. When he is called names and demeaned and embarrassed out there. The women were crazy. And the abuse is not a man problem, it's a human problem. It can come out, pathology can happen for both men and women. We're just taking one strand of topic at a time. Today we are taking when it's the woman who's being abused. Okay? When it's the woman who's being mistreated, disrespected. There before, women would stay because they have no option, they have no money. The same man who is abusing her is the same one who is feeding her, providing, and paying for the life. So she says, where do I go? They just behave helpless and you sort of almost understand. If I go, who will pay for the children? I'm staying so that he can educate the children. I'm saying that at least children can go through school. I'm staying so that this, at least the other, at least. And they come up with explanations of justifying complacency and staying there. And although that is bad enough, you must struggle your way to preserve your health and your dignity, to preserve your respect and your human honor. You even if you have no money and you can find it, you can hustle somewhere. Just imagine this person were to die. Don't make people your God. Don't make people your God. Even if you have no money and they're mistreating you, find a way to fight your way out. But remember, that takes willpower, determination. But the woman we are discussing today is one who is not helpless financially.
But maybe even before we go there, maybe there's this woman, she'll say that I am staying in this toxic marriage because I'm not well financially, but it is because they want to maintain a certain lifestyle, because I believe maybe you can walk out and take the kids to government school.
A lesser school. Let me tell you, sometimes those calculations are very difficult, honestly, that to change lifestyle for children. But remember, the question you need to ask about all relationships and marriages is, what am I paying for this? if you're staying and the price is your peace of mind, it's your mental health, even if it's the lifestyle you're staying for, you still die in that lifestyle and be buried in that lifestyle. Or your children will get scarred and disoriented even when the lifestyle was there. Really, let me tell you the truth. Even if me leaving will mean the children going to a lesser school, like I'll explain to them and they will understand. I'll tell them we needed love and peace. We better go to a simpler lifestyle and we can laugh, sleep, eat, see the world, see sunshine, do homework together, go to church together, have a life.
Yes.
Let me tell you the truth. Even children will tell you, would rather not have this mansion but have peace.
Yes.
We don't want to see you crying. And tell these women who are doing that difficult calculation that by you staying and saying, I'm waiting so that they finish school, the period they're finishing school, they're also getting wounded, confused, disoriented. A lot of places where you hear homosexuality or this lesbian or whatever, it is children who are wounded. It's not even gender, alternative. It is keeping them in this kind of abuse until they can't trust marriage. So they direct their needs, their energy to anywhere else other than this marriage, kind of. Because you showed it as painful and untrustworthy. Remember that? So the woman who has money now, what is the cause? Why do they stay? Why are they voiceless? Why can't they speak up for themselves? The one reason is they married downwards. Some of these women who picked up career-wise were told that you can't find, you just have to compromise. So they marry somebody who's below them. And when they got children together, she started saying she doesn't want to appear like she's a failure. Remember, being a successful person can be dangerous because it does not allow you to admit mistakes. When you're successful career-wise, you don't want to admit mistakes in relationships. You think, I'll also fix it. I have fixed something else. You know?
So what is this?
You know? Many of these women are tolerating abuse because this person is using your success against you. It's because you have money. It's because you're senior. It's because you're the one paying for me. It's the one you are paying the house. It's because this is your house. Weak people always use your strength against you. Haven't you heard that language when you go home? Is it because you have no money that you're not greeting people? These people have cars. Since we started seeing you on TV. And you know they can manipulate you until you are working very hard to behave humble. To tolerate mistreatment. It's a reverse psychology. To make you feel guilty for the things you have achieved for yourself. So some of these women can't talk. The man who is abusing is very weak, contributing nothing, paying nothing, just there eating, but he uses the same thing against her. Is it because this is your food? Just because it's your car? Just because it's your house? Now you're going to make noise for me the whole day. So because you are the one paying my fees, now I can't sleep. So because...
I'm laughing because yesterday there's someone who called me and I was in a meeting and so I couldn't answer the call. And she texted and said, nowadays you don't pick our calls because you are doing some talk shows.
They use your success against you. It's a mental reverse psychology of manipulation. And you know, if you're not reflective, you can find yourself responding quickly to get rid of the accusation. If you're not reflective. Because these are convoluted manipulation. It's convoluted because actually it's true. You're on TV. You're doing talk show. It's true you did not pick. But the reason is different. Some of these women stay there because they adopted a needy person, thinking they can rehabilitate and upgrade. They can somehow, they were taught by them. Some of our mothers really put together their men. And so they pass on this philosophy that you can find a salvage vehicle of a man. And
you make it look nice.
You know? And they even tell you a woman makes her own husband. They come up with the sayings. So these women are prepared to tolerate all manner of abuse and bullshit, anything you can't imagine. A person who's drinking your money and comes up to beat to comes late to insult, harass you having drunk.
You are money. Who bewitched us?
So, this is a very hardworking woman who is high flying, who is driven, who wanted more, but she has to pay everything. And the only reason this man is in his life, because her philosophy was taught that you should endure until you change him. She married downwards. The only marriage that can work is a man who has leadership energy in that union. Are we together?
Yeah.
Even if he's not the one earning more, he should be the leader in the union. As I told you, you should not refuse your wife from earning more if it is going to help your family. What is this you are struggling with the talk shows here and that? If Chinese government gives you guys an offer to go earn millions within 2 years, and she should be the one teaching English to some schools of the well-to-do. Maybe, let's say she's a teacher or she has a passion there. And you guys have a chance to come migrate, all of you. So go to China, become a happy babysitter. Happily babysit. For 2 years, I know we'll have enough money to come back and take off.
Yes.
At that time, who is earning more? It's her.
Yes.
But who is the leader in the union?
I'm the man.
Thank you.
Yes.
The only marriage arrangement that works is when the man is a leader. Animo does not give her the leadership or take off my position. Leadership is an attitude, is an energy, is a mindset. Submission, teamwork is an energy. It's a mindset. It's not about the money. Money is very important, and you can abuse it. Some people use the money to always lord it over other people. Now, a guy was asking me, since he lost his job and he put this girl a business which has taken off, now she has money he does not have. His job stopped. He used his savings to set up business for her as he looks for a job. So he has not found job. Some years ago now, it's not anything consistent, just here and there. So she's better off. Now she has all this disrespect, condescending. And when I tried to find out, I asked, how did you marry this girl? He married her on the strength of his money. Many men make that mistake. They spoil the girl until she realizes this is the person who will remove me from poverty. So you promised the wrong thing, not character.
Yeah.
Spoiling. Many of these men date the wrong way. Even when you have money, do not overspoil. Give it times that you can learn the real person. Sometimes you can overwhelm people with goodies until they can't resist.
Yeah.
And they get confused.
And right there, you get married for the wrong reason.
And when that goodies are not coming anymore, you see her true colors. So she has not changed. She has just become herself.
I mean, I came in because of these goodies.
Yes. You actually presented them in front of you. There are men who are very afraid of being rejected. So they present the goodies. The goodies, the good life.
Yeah.
What I can do, the money you can give, how I can solve your problems. That's not how you date, Willie. Even when you have money, don't put it in front. Don't put it in front. You end up with gold diggers. You end up with the people who come because of the comfort. Some people are not even looking out for men's money outrightly. This is the catch. Many women, men married, were not particularly materialistic. They were just not wife material. They were just not marriageable. And you presented such a good life, she just bought in. She did not calculate what you need as a wife, for a wife. What you need her to be. You did not take that time to sell your vision. It was action, 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 giving, giving, sending, sending, sending. She got attached to the hand, not the heart.
Yeah.
These girls, the first reason they are tormented, they married a man who could not match her level, but she was convinced that she can prop him up. So they keep setting up businesses, it collapses. Remember we said you don't set up businesses for people before they prove their ability to run that kind of business. Most businesses need insignificant capital to start. Most small businesses, the one that you need to experiment and learn the ropes, you don't need a lot of setup, huge money. No. So you should never be taking a loan for a person to go start a business. We take loans to grow the business. After you have done it to a substantial degree that we can see, you have learned the energy, the ropes. These women are always investing and investing. So the reason they stay in silence and the children are watching how the woman is voiceless. She's the one paying, the one being harassed and quarreled, silenced and insulted and abused and mind twisted, and the energy in the room, the energy in the house, so sad, depressive, anxious. Those children usually grow with anxiety. They usually grow with fear. They grow with anger and shame and guilt. The first problem, when you keep, because this man, you can't silence him, is always reverse guilting you, those children learn that even when you have money as a woman, you are still voiceless. And if they are boys, they learn that pathology, and they become so confused and conflicted that they can't function normally. The second problem you find is that sometimes the woman committed a genuine mistake, and there are some narcissistic people who use your mistake against you for years. They punish you for the one time you did something, although they've done the similar thing 10 times. But you came and confessed out of good heart what you did, or they found out, and from there you have no peace in this world. They quarrel you, conflict you. They
call you names.
Did I tell you that no more people will not text at 2 a.m. or 1 a.m. every day for a month? Don't text you daily, same issue for a whole year. But there are people who will harass you over the same thing you did for a year, every day. They have so much bile, anger, wrath. We gave it a name, we call it narcissistic rage. The kind of rage that rages for years, for months. So some of these people are staying because they're being punished for something they really did. But they don't know that that is only being used as a hook for abuse. The punishment has overstayed. These people don't want to forgive, and they don't want to release you. They don't want to let you go. Neither do they want to forgive. They don't want to let the issue go. Neither will they release you to go. They use it as a holding point for abuse. That's the reason these women, you keep them, you see them, and I'll tell you why and then what happens. It's because she has not seen another life. She has not been shown where will you go? You can't go back to your parents. That's how they think. Where will you go? Now at this point, who will marry you? Now at this point, where will you start? Now what will be your identity? Now if you leave your home, where will you start again? So they may have cars, businesses, but their thinking gets stuck at that point of, so what next? I'm so old. Who will want me? Where will I start? What will people say? And these men also use that language, who do you think will want you? And you know, many times there are people who hurry you up to get children so they can get you there where you can go nowhere. Sometimes when people are pressuring for children, ask yourself, what is their motive? Some people don't want you to stay. They want child because you're mobile. With one child, you're mobile. You've already seen red flags, and they're already pressuring for a child and blaming you that you don't want to get pregnant because you have other people. They use guilt tripping. It's not reasoning or persuasion or us deciding together. And you can already sense the vibe is manipulative. The vibe is abusive. And you pretend like you don't see it and you cooperate, get pregnant. Then now they start using the language. Where will you go with the two children? You can't go anywhere. And when they know you love your children, they say you can't get away out of those children. So they use everything against you. Some of these women are just suffering mental block. And the solution to that mental block is very simple. A home does not have to be a marriage. You can have a complete home when you're not married. You can rent your own house, you can build your own home, and have a very happy life without marriage. So please outgrow that cocoon that it must be a marriage to be a home. You can be happy on your own. And some of them stay because of the bodily needs, there is sex occasionally, and yet you are being insulted even after that sex. You're being made to look like you're the one who is desperate. Look at what you're being given. Breadcrumbs here and there, while you're being whipped so heavily here, the cost. And we said whenever you find yourself staring into space thinking about your marriage, whenever you find yourself depressed and headache and taking painkillers and crying alone and losing memory and getting stressed and frozen at the office and people are finding you having zoned out and because of your marriage, see a therapist. Can we normalize seeing counselors? to discuss our lives. Many times you can't trust your friends because you disclose too much to people who already know you. Neither can you trust relatives. But we have counselors nowadays who can help you process life safely. No one thing with a counselor is after you talk, they disappear from your life.
And talking about counselors,
Yes.
there's some people who run to pastors who are not professional counselors.
Yes. And while pastors are doing a very good job in giving us hope, because sometimes the issues of your life, you wanted to request a prayer request because it's a disturbance. You don't really know what you need. And as you tell the story, really, it's a psychological problem. You need emotional support. You need, so this person may offer prayers and support,
Encouragement.
but remember, there are some things that require expertise. In Africa, we had not normalized counseling, although we need it most. The
Yeah.
pathology caused by poverty,
Yes.
the oppression, the sickness, my brother, caused by poverty requires all the psychological support you can find.
Yes.
For example, one unique problem we have that is not in the developed countries is that when you start moving from poverty to abundance, you have to fight against the system that represented despondency. Sometimes it's your parents, sometimes it's your family who could not work with any, could not keep any savings, and the moment they learn you have savings, they want to take it by force. Who could not?
By force. You can't get
They
that.
use curses, they use threats.
Yes.
I've had cases where a parent travels from Western, from up country, to come to Nairobi to curse the son until he takes a loan of 1 million for the father.
Where?
And the man asked me, man, what do I do? This is my father who I'm trying to respect. Me, I'm trying to develop myself. I send them what I can afford to send. But now they want to sink me in the same situation they're in. He told me my father has been a farmer, has been working. They have done nothing for themselves. They rushed me to get married. They even brought a woman there who I rejected because me, I didn't want to be tied at that time in life.
Yeah.
I ran away, went to university, educated myself through struggle. Now I'm here. I have a job. When he learns I have a job, they are all on my phone, on my case, asking for money and loans and forcing me to build them a house, get them a car. This problem is not there in the West. And we need psychological support to deal with it.
Yeah.
When your family is the people you have to fight against to get away from poverty. In developed countries, people have released each other to live their lives. They respect, even if you migrate to another country, that's no more there. We talk on phone, how are you guys? It's a relationship, it's not dependency. Here, it's manipulation, it's oppression. And to remind you that developed countries do not interfere with women's reproductive organs in the name of female genital mutilation. They don't try to circumcise them. They respect people's bodies. Some things are primitive and backward. They're not cultural. There is no such thing as female circumcision. Circumcision for men involves cutting off what is potentially toxic, what would hold dirt and maybe bring infections.
Yeah.
It is hygienic for men, for the foreskin to be cut off. For women, there's nothing to be cut off. There's nothing unhygienic. What they cut off for women is equivalent of the male organ, all of it. Women don't have anything unhygienic, a foreskin that could have reserved dirt and caused infections. We circumcise men out of necessity because it's a foreskin. Even after you cut it, the organ now looks good, clean. In female, there's nothing like that. What they cut off for women is the organ that makes them experience pleasure. It's not circumcision. Whenever you call it circumcision, you miss the point. There is nothing to circumcise for women. What they go is to cut off the organ itself that make her experience pleasure. These things we do in Africa, that people have been traumatized by parts of their body being taken away during years of their innocence, by being subjected to things that were not for them, but to make them usable. For a man to sleep with you and you're feeling nothing and he's feeling good, that is the essence of FGM. For you to be made impossible to experience pleasure, you need counseling. We need psychological support. If you went through those things and you're keeping quiet somewhere and you've managed to fight out, especially pastoralist communities, these communities that are migrating and they are always moving, those cultures are still entrenched there because that lifestyle of moving makes it very hard for education and other things to penetrate and for the children to be exposed. To be married off at 15, married off at a man is brought there when a girl is hardly anybody. And just like that, her life is cancelled out. We need support in Africa. So Normalize talking to a therapist when you have suffered things. We need counseling more than other continents, and yet we evaluate the least. No wonder we remain behind.
Yeah.
We are so sick and we have made medicine taboo. What is our hope? What is our hope? That thing, now, what happens then? If you brought up by mothers who are voiceless and silenced, you learn timidity. The other day I gave people an image of a breastfeeding child, a breastfeeding mother. And I told them, the way you see the mother breastfeeding and they are talking to the child, with the child they have eye contact. The child does not know how to talk at that time, but they are communicating. So what the eye contact of a mother to a breastfeeding child communicates is, you exist. You are there. You are. To validate the child's separate existence. And the mother usually talks and teases and plays with the child during breastfeeding. And they have a communication. She's not just passing milk, she's passing energy, essence. If you are voiceless, timid, fearful, intimidated, crying, stressed, what are you passing to the child?
The same thing.
Yes. Sadness and victimization and hopelessness.
So we are raising a hopeless generation.
Yes.
And a voiceless generation.
When you are voiceless as a mother, when you can't speak up for yourself, when you can't stand up to abuse, you end up raising children who can't stand up to abuse either. They don't have a voice either. And it starts from pregnancy, starts from breastfeeding, the energy you pass. So people confessed there what they watched. They said they saw their mother crying, weeping as they breastfed. So while they're breastfeeding and crying and struggling, they came to realize this world is hopeless. Remember, men can't do that exercise. Men don't breastfeed.
Yeah.
We usually can't speak the language called child because it has no vocabulary. It is just them answering each other. Ma, just, and you hear that. You've heard a mother talking to a child who is not talking back on the way.
Yeah.
And they're happy. They're talking.
Yes.
That language is called child. It is supposed to teach the child that they exist, to communicate, to keep in touch, to bring out the talking ability, to catch the emotions. The child learns to laugh, to respond to smiles. Actually, the parental responsiveness is critical to the child's formation of emotional connection to the world. When the mother smiles back, laughs back, looks back, the child is playing. And it starts as early as day one. That validation is critical. If you are voiceless, if you're in a place where you're being abused and victimized, and you think you're staying because of children, that child, you will have inculcated timidity. For us men, make sure you raise your children. They're done babysitting by a strong mother, so they can be a strong children. Do not stress the mother. It will pass on to the children. Neither should you marry a timid woman or toxic. Some women are just unstable. Even if you want to have a happy life, they're incapable of it. Marry a person who is capable of a happy life. Yes.
Wow. Thank you so much. We really appreciate. And don't be voiceless. Speak out. If something happens, you need to raise your voice and speak out, because what your children need is not primarily a married mother, but a happy mother. Be healthy and happy so that you can pass healthy and happy upbringing to them. Of course, the ideal is to be both happy and married. But if you have to choose one, always choose happiness. Do not fear being called a divorced woman, rather fear being called a depressed woman. And we end the show right there. Thank you so much for joining in. My name is